The D-backs are promoting Jordan Lawlar. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Monday, May 12th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Chris Towers. Happy Mother's Day to all the great moms out there. Let's get into this weekend's recap. And the D-backs, we just learned, are promoting their top prospect, Jordan Lawlar, who we've heard about for years, still just 22 years old. He was destroying it at AAA this season, hitting .336 with 6 home runs, 13 steals, a .995 OPS, 45% rostered. Chris, do you think Jordan Lawlar is a must-add player in fantasy baseball?
In any category or roto league, I think so. Head-to-head points is going to be hard because volume matters so much there, and he probably isn't going to play every day, at least to kick off not his career, I guess, because he was called up 2 years ago, but his latest stint with the team, which I do expect to be a permanent one. It's kind of a tough situation for a young player to be in because he is probably not going to play every day, and he's certainly not going to have a spot every day, right? We've got Ketel Marte at second base, Geraldo Perdomo at shortstop, and Eugenio Suarez at third base. Those are the 3 positions that Jordan Lawlar has played in this season at AAA. He's never played the outfield. I'm surprised that they didn't at least get him a couple of reps out there. I'm surprised if they were going to call him up. Why not do it when Ketel Marte was on the IL? A lot of it is weird with regards to the timing, but I think what we'll see is he'll get a start at one spot one day off the next, maybe 3 or 4 times a week to start off. He'll have to force his way into the lineup more often, but he's clearly talented enough to do that. Jordan Lawlar, even after playing something like 30 combined games last season, he's hitting .336 with a .584 slugging percentage so far. He's walking a bunch. He's a great athlete. Everyone raves about him. He's still a top prospect despite all the time he's missed. I think Jordan Lawlar, the likeliest outcome is he's not a super useful fantasy option. The upside cases here are really, really high.
Let's stick with the D-backs here, Chris, and talk about Corbin Burnes, because of course it would go this way, where everybody benches him. He's dealing with this shoulder injury, I believe it was, and then he has his best start of the season against the Dodgers. 7 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts. He had 12 whiffs on 91 pitches, lowered the cutter usage in this one, basically used everything else more, and now he gets the Rockies this week in Arizona. So get Corbin Burnes back in your lineups, basically, but this was kind of annoying that it happened on many people's benches.
Yeah, and from a long-term perspective, this wasn't really as optimistic a start as you would want it to be, given that the top-line numbers are really solid against a team like the Dodgers. You'll take any amount of success against them. The problem is Corbin Burnes, last year, he started throwing his cutter with a lot more induced vertical break and a lot less horizontal movement. And the way he put it was playing like a crappy four-seamer. And it was getting hit like a crappy four-seamer. And it still mostly looks like that. He's back to, in this start, it was 12 inches of induced vertical break, 2.8 inches of induced horizontal break. That's mostly just a not great fastball. It's not going to get a lot of whiffs. He reduced his usage to right-handers, mostly used it as a platoon bat misser. And I don't know, maybe that's a tweak that can work, but it feels like it was kind of an outlier here. I do expect a good start against the Rockies. I also think if he has a good start against the Rockies, that would be a perfect time to try to sell on Corbin Burnes, because it just does not look like the cutter's where it needs to be for him.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
Welcome back in FBT Express. We have a lot of banged up players right now, so let's just try and talk through some of these injuries and whether or not we are starting or sitting these players. O'Neal Cruz left Saturday due to lower back tightness and then was out of the lineup on Sunday. The Pirates said that Cruz is day-to-day. Chris, are you starting O'Neal Cruz?
The fact that they're saying he's day-to-day makes me inclined to start him this week, but it's concerning because the back, like that might be one that you wake up one day, it doesn't feel right, and all of a sudden you're on the IL. I'm inclined to start him, but it's a little iffy.
All right, what about Jackson Merrill, who was scratched from the lineup Sunday due to an illness? The Padres do play on Monday, so I'm pretty sure we'll find out right away. What do you think about Jackson Merrill?
It's rare to see guys miss more than a day or two with an illness, so I would guess Jackson Merrill will be fine. Maybe he misses one more day, but I'm starting him this week.
Corey Seager was out of the lineup Sunday after his right hamstring tightened up on him on Saturday. He also missed Thursday and Friday with that same injury, but in between all of that, a 2-homer game on Saturday. So what do we do? Start or sit Corey Seager?
Hamstrings are really tricky. The fact that he's already had a setback since coming off the IL is pretty scary. I think you probably want to sit Corey Seager this week, unfortunately.
Jose Altuve left Saturday due to right hamstring tightness and then was out of the lineup on Sunday. Apparently, he is still dealing with some tightness, but said that he feels better. The hope is that he can return within a few days. Start or sit Jose Altuve?
Again, I'm probably inclined to sit him here if I can, because hamstrings, you can be optimistic, but honestly, missing the IL with a hamstring injury is pretty rare, I would say. And the hope he can return within a few days, well, that might not go as well as they hope. So I would lean sitting Jose Altuve.
Luis Robert missed Saturday and Sunday with right knee soreness. The expectation is that he will return on Tuesday, but we don't know that for sure. Start or sit Luis Robert?
Yeah, I mean, this one's especially tough. One, just because of Luis Robert's history, but two, most of the value we've gotten from him this season has come in the form of just a bonkers stolen base pace. And, he's turned the heat up a little bit with the bat over the past 2 weeks or so, but it still doesn't feel like he's super reliable as a hitter. So if you can't also rely on the speed, I'm leaning sit Luis Robert here.
Ian Happ missed Saturday and Sunday's games due to an oblique injury. He played catch and took some swings on Sunday. There is some hope that he will return on Monday. Chris, start or sit Ian Happ?
Yeah, I mean, obliques might be even worse than hamstrings in terms of the chances of missing the IL. So I don't know. The fact that he is feeling good enough to do baseball activities on Sunday makes me think that he's got a decent chance. I don't want to say sit everybody because you got to start someone. So I'll say start Ian Happ. I don't know.
And then lastly, we have Anthony Santander, who has missed 3 straight with a left shoulder injury. Start or sit Anthony Santander?
He's been so iffy this season anyway that it feels like he's kind of a fringe starter right now until he heats up, which I think he will. But I don't think he's a must-start player even when he's healthy. So this might be an excuse to get Anthony Santander out of your lineup for a week.
All right, for more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.